Not me. I'm not listening.
You don't count.
Will they show up at the bottom like you guys are?
No.
No.
Ah,
I can see the number of viewers,
ah,
and it's not always accurate. We'll have more people asking questions, and they show listed. So
got it. Will
I
their
don't
questions
quite
be
know.
verbal?
No, they'll be listed, and I'll click them. If you uh, move over your video, you can pop up the Q&A panel, little blue square,
Oh yeah.
and then as Q&A is typed in, you'll be able to see it.
Okay.
Okay, well, I showed it's time, so let's get started. We'll play a little music, and I'll hit record, and we will start it. I kick this one off, and Wits End, you close it.
Do we have to do anything in between?
There's something in between, yeah,
Okay.
but I can't remember what. Is there anything?
I'll fake it.
Okay.
That's what I always do.
Have them open the doors at J Street. I'll fake it to you.
I want to be the bottle cap.
Yeah.
Piece of
Wanna be
glass.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Here we are. It's Thursday night. Welcome to Caching in the Northwest. 'Tis the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the great Pacific Northwest. We'll talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. May the luck of the Irish be with you whilst caching in the Northwest.
You gonna do that all night?
No, that's all I can do. That's a really
Okay.
hard accent for me.
Whew. I was gonna have to fake an asthma attack and run for the border or something. I don't know. All right. Well, it is Thursday night, as you kind of said, and that means it's time to bring in our. Wait. Our monkey is missing. That's right. Land monkey is missing this evening. It's okay, because we've improved. We have something better. We have 3 mud dogs. We traded in 1 monkey for 3 mud dogs. 3 mud dogs is the current president of Geo, or is it GEO? Geocachers Exploring Oregon. So, welcome to Caching in the Northwest.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thanks so much. Now, our beloved Northwesterners,
Yes.
we want to hear about your favorite geocaching logs. And we're calling this segment GLOW, or the Geocaching Log of the Week. So do you write great logs? Maybe it's a log you've read while looking for a clue to that really tough cache. Whether it's yours or not, we want to hear about it. So send an email to feedback@cachingNW.com, or better yet, call in to 253-693-TFTC. There's so many ways. You could use the voicemail tool on the website and show us how you glow.
And tonight we have a glow, believe it or not. And, even when he's not here, the land monkey managed to find a way to infiltrate the podcast. Or, contribute to the podcast. Tonight's glow is from none other than Land Monkey. And it's on a cache he found called Home Tweet Home. He says, here's the cache, I'll read it. Brr, he says, with a break in the rain and a very targeted goal of 2 geocaches today. I have to say that's very low for the Land Monkey. We thought we'd come back to this park we haven't visited for a few years to check out the 2 new caches here. Well, we got to the general area of Ground Zero pretty easily, but that's where things got a bit trickier. Clearly, the recent cachers had been mixing trails with recent muggle activity, as there were many geo-trails to check out, all leading to potential hiding spots. Most had fresh muggle rubbish, and hopefully those weren't the right spots. Can you imagine us getting muggled that fast? Terrible. Turns out they weren't. It was like having a little grove full of red herrings, but that just made the search more fun. Eventually, Mr. Land Monkey made the find and decided to try the Hucklebuckle methodology. Mrs. Land Monkey looked at me askew as I chirped, Hucklebuckle. Ah, the joys of leveraging new geocaching parlance in the field instead of the house. We truly enjoyed this little find, very cute and most worthy of a favorite. Notice that favorite is spelled with a U in the Canadian way. He says, I particularly was impressed with the pass-through of the anchoring mechanism to allow for easier access and yet concealment of the actual cache container. Very clever. But what was the pop can opener for? A stopping system? A cable stay, as it were? Curious George Monkey minds want to know. Well, now that we have both spotted it, Mr. Land Monkey retrieved the log for Mrs. Land Monkey's signing, and while reading the names of the previous finders, signing, then casually re-rolling the log, I said to her, would you hurry up? It's freezing. This is because, for reasons known only to myself, I went out in shorts today. Silly monkey. Cache was returned to its home and replaced back again in the manner we found it so that you can only spot it to hucklebuckle from a specific angle. Ideally, this will keep this cute little favorite point garnerer from being muggled anytime soon. Thanks for the fun find this afternoon. Cache safely and cache often. All right, the land monkeys.
Oh, he's corrupted you with the all right. Are both of you familiar with the hucklebuckle methodology? That's not something I can apparently say.
I'm not familiar with the hucklebuckle methodology, no.
So the idea is, if you go out in a group or with multiple people and you spot the cache, you step away and you say hucklebuckle, indicating that you found it without retrieving it, and the other people still have to go find it themselves.
Got it.
So
that would explain the black eye and the lack of teeth.
Bingo. he did it in a way that he could move away from his wife.
I've done that before, just not use the expression hucklebuckle.
No.
Hucklebuckle, yeah.
New term for me too.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. We have feedback, or we have email tonight from a friend of the show, 3 Hams and a Rose. He sent an email and he said, I tackled the Kettle Valley Railway GeoArt series outside Kelowna, BC this week. Kelowna, sorry. While my family was skiing for 3 days at nearby Big White Ski Resort. It's an appropriate name for a ski resort, don't you think?
Yeah.
I drove a total of 70 kilometers, which is like 8,000 miles.
Yeah, pretty much.
Icy, pothole-blighted logging roads in my family van and snowshoe hiked for 26 kilometers. Forget this, 28 FTFs and a total of 76 finds. A fun few days of caching. Well, there's still over 100 caches up for FTF, but you'll need a snowmobile to reach them. Holy cow, indeed.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I have to say, personally, that's a much better use of time than skiing. Just my...
Yeah,
and I'm guessing the caches are not buried in snow.
I mean, he had to snowshoe hike to them, so I don't know how many geocaches are in this art. It's a huge piece of geo art for the KVR, the I have to look through Kettle Valley Railway.
And what part of Canada was that?
Kelowna, BC.
Gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, it's not too far north over the border, but yeah, it's one of those that it's a huge GOR. Well, he got 76 finds, and there's still 100 caches up for FTF, so it's a big chunk of GeoArt.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, enough of feedback. Let's bring in our guest again. So, 3 Mud Dogs, thank you for joining us tonight. You are the president of Geo.
I am. That is correct.
And is it pronounced Geo or GE Oregon? How do you?
Well, you'll hear it said a few different ways. Technically, we're Geo, but our website is georegon.com, so geooregon.com. So a lot of people say Geo Oregon. You don't usually hear GE Oregon. So it's usually Geo or Geo Oregon.
Okay.
Geocachers Exploring Oregon.
That's a great name, by the way.
Yeah, we started out with a different name that was more local to the county that the people who started the club were in. It's called Clackamas County.
Mm-hmm.
But we found it was really the only club in the Portland metro area. So we were getting people into we're basically a 3-county city. And we were getting people in from all parts of the city as well as across the river there in Vancouver, Washington. So we decided we should change our name to kind of broaden uh, our look, I guess, for people and to not, make it so that people were asking, do you have to be in Clackamas County to join? And we're like, no, no, no. So, but we didn't want to impede on WSGA either on the Washington side, so we just stuck with Geocachers Exploring Oregon.
Nice.
One of our members came up with that name. So.
Tell us a little bit, you have already, but tell us a little bit more about what Geo is, what this organization is all about.
Well, it's just a clan of geocachers, It's just a group of people that have a good time with GPS units out in the city or out in the forest, and in this area, of course, out in the rain. It's just a club. Now, we try to do good things, both for the community as well as for the geocaching community. We have events, of course, and we can talk about that, but we try to do classes both for experienced cachers as well as for new cachers. We work with communities in terms of doing cytos, of course, cleaning up parks, cleaning up roads, cleaning up ivy or whatever. We try to work with governmental agents. We don't do it as much as I wish we could, but like we did do a coin event recently with the Portland Police Bureau. We worked with them a little bit on that. We've worked with some other cities on some coin challenges. We try to interact with the parks departments as needed and things like that. Sometimes they come to us. Sometimes we have to kind of butt our nose in. Sometimes things happen and we're not even aware of them, so we don't participate. That's one of the things I would like to do more of, but those are the things that we try to do for the most part.
Nice. Now, how long ago was Geo or the Clackamas County Association established?
It was started in 2008 by just a few local cachers, like I said, in Clackamas County, and they had a few events here and there, and they started this club. There weren't regular events at that time, but we had one in the spring, a little one in the summer, and some get-togethers, and they formed a board at some point to have some official representation of the group, some official organization, and then they started handing out or taking in memberships, and then from there we elected a new board for 2009. I was actually the first president that year as well, the first full year of the club. So I was president in 2009 as well as 2010, and that's when we started having regular monthly meetings, monthly meet and greets, and the myriad of other events that we have. So we have a lot of different things going on. We do once a month. We at least have a meet and greet. We'll do a picnic in the summer, typically July or August. We have a Christmas party, of course, in December. We try to do a couple cytos every year, usually around the geocaching, the Groundspeak souvenir for Earth Day in April, and again in September, I think it is. The club has adopted a road. We have a piece of highway. Actually, it's a piece of a road called Sunnyside. It's a very busy road, lots of trash, and there's a mile of that road that we adopted for the county, and we clean that road up twice a year, have a little cyto, and do that. And then, like I said before, we do a bunch of classes. We do what we call Geocaching 101. We've done those classes all around Portland in probably 6 or 7 different locations, often at the request of cities or libraries or something like that. We have them most of the time. They're held in libraries. I'm trying to think of when I've done one not in a library. We've had some of our members do them also on the Vancouver side. I've gone as far east as Madras, which is over the mountains, as we say, into the dry part of the state. I know Washington has a dry half of the state as well. We say dry half. It's really more like dry 2/3, but we don't get we live on the green side, so we like to just say it's a dry half. But anyway, so we've done those classes. We do more advanced classes, things on bookmarks and pocket queries, some premium membership things, finding caches along a route, GSAC. I do some workshops on GSAC a couple times a year.
Nice.
For those who don't know, that's geocaching Swiss Army knife. It's basically a big database program for geocaching. And then we've had a couple of puzzle solving classes, which are very popular, but very hard to find people to teach, because I'm not that good at puzzle solving. And so we've gotten some really good members that help us out and have done a couple of those classes. The last one we had was just a month or so ago. We had 75 people there.
Wow.
And we used every chair that the library had, and then had a couple standing up in the back. So
that's impressive.
Yeah, it's fun. We have a good time. We're doing an interesting event in May this year. We're teaming up with the Southwest chapter of Washington State Geocaching Association, so the chapter across the river in Vancouver, and Geo. We're going to do 2 events on the same day in May, the first week Saturday in May, and we're calling it Maintenance Madness. And the kickoff will be on the Vancouver side of the river, and the celebration will be on the Portland side of the river. And we're basically sending people out with logbooks and Ziploc bags and pens and duct tape and geocaching containers, and basically just ask them to do some maintenance, some cache maintenance. It's springtime. We all know how caches in the Northwest sometimes don't fare so well over the winter months. So we basically put this pair of events together to try to encourage people to go out and maintain their own caches first, of course, and then if they know of others or run across some others that need maintenance, to do a little friendly caching karma there and do some maintenance. So that event's coming up in May. It's the first time we've done one like that, but we're looking forward to that as well. But we do a lot of different things. We have a lot of fun. Most of the time it's just get to hang out and talk about geocaching, the things that we all love to do.
That's great. Yeah, it's great that you've teamed up with Southwest Washington there and reached out. It sounds like if you started in Clackamas County, that things are mostly centered around Portland, but obviously you've spread all over Oregon, which is, of course, part of the Great Pacific Northwest. Is there membership to your club? You've covered a lot of information here. I just want to go back over a few things and make sure we've gotten things out for viewers that might have tuned in.
Yeah.
Costs, do you get specific perks, benefits, or privileges as a member, and do you have to live in Oregon to be a member?
I'll answer the last question first, because that's one I remember easiest. No, you don't have to be a member or an Oregon resident to be a member. We have people from Vancouver that are members. We have, I'm sure you guys have them as well, people that are snowbirds that spend a lot of time in Arizona or New Mexico and come back up here in the summer, and we have those guys that are members. No requirements at all on being a member. We do have dues, annual dues. It's $25 for a family, which is any 2 or more people, and $15 for an individual for a year, and that's the first time, and then it's I think it's $20 and $12 just to renew for a family and an individual. When you first join, you get a name badge. I should have brought one. It's a nice plastic magnetic permanent name badge. Has your name on it, your geocaching name and your regular name, where you're from, how long you've been geocaching, and the years that you've been a member of the club. You get that as part of your membership. You can buy cool sweatshirts that have our Geo logo on it and says, come cache with us on the back. You can see that.
There you go. Nice.
Kind of fun. We have bumper stickers that say that as well. We do buy merchandise as a club, so if we buy it through Groundspeak or Coin, I don't want to advertise other people here. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but the people out there that sell coins and shirts and lanyards and GPSs and all those kinds of things, we buy some of that stuff, and because we buy it in bulk, we pay the shipping and we get a discount, and then we can offer that discount to the members. We sell it to anybody who wants it, but if you're a member, you get a bigger discount. So you get that kind of benefit as well. As far as that, other perks, well, there really isn't a lot. It's one of the things that's kind of hard for a club like us because, as you know, it's a geocaching event. It has to be open to everyone, whether they are a member or not. So we can't say, oh, sorry, this is our club, and you have to be a member to come. Anyone who wants to come can come, and we actually appreciate that. So to me, the best perk is that you support an organization that's trying to better the organization. We talk a lot about placing good caches. We talk a lot about not spamming areas or putting out a bunch of plastic yogurt containers that we know will not survive one harsh winter. So we try to we do our classes that we do. We we get queries from schools or Girl Scout troops. I've talked to Girl Scout troops. I've talked to Boy Scout troops. We hope that people join the club, participate in the club, just as a way of promoting geocaching and promoting geocaching as a good family-friendly sport or hobby, whatever you want to call it, game that is good fun, gets kids outdoors, has a little bit of geek factor if kids like that kind of thing, but gets them out and gets them having a good time. So that to me is the biggest perk, but it's not all that tangible, right? So it's hard to say what all the tangible benefits are of being a part of the club. We hope people participate and join the club just to help support the club and keep the activities that we do provide going.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And based around the Portland area, to paraphrase a Portland phrase, do you do your part to help keep geocaching weird?
Yes, of course we do.
Okay.
Some do it better than others. I'm an engineer. I tend to do things, in squares and boxes, and there are other people who are way more creative than I am that can have some pretty weird caches out there. But yeah, we try to have a good time and be a little bit of Portland weird while we're at it.
All right.
Yeah, Portland has really set itself apart here in the Northwest as being just a little off. In a good way.
In a good way.
I'm glad you added that last part there at the end. That was probably just for me. I appreciate that, but yeah, thank you.
No, not at all. I like Portland. We go down there for different reasons, and
yep.
I've always had good caching experiences in Oregon.
Yeah.
And I think it must be because of Geo.
Ah, well, let's claim that, shall we?
Okay.
Let's claim that. Okay. I don't know that it is. We have some really great cachers. Some are members and some are not. So we have a lot of good caches out there because we have a lot of good cachers, and exactly. we would like the club to be a part of that and to take some credit for that. But I can't claim all of it. The club can't claim all of it. We have some really great folks in the area, so.
I have to say I'm really impressed by the breadth of classes that you have taught. You mentioned law enforcement agencies and, Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops.
Yep.
Local public classrooms. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's I think the fact that our name is Geocachers Exploring Oregon. If you Google geocaching in Oregon, we're going to come up somewhere somehow, and that's people find us that way, and a lot of them are just questions. The Portland Police Bureau reached out just because of our name, and they said, hey, we want to do this coin challenge. You guys want to be a part of it, and they by the way did almost all the work. We just publicized it a little bit for them and showed up in mass like all geocachers do, and you say the word coin challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
So the club actually didn't do much work on that, but we did. We made contact. We offered to support him. Had some problems placing some of his caches, so gave him some help there. But he, the sergeant that ran that did a great job and set it all up with one of our local reviewers and did an awesome job all on his own. So we just want to maintain that kind of contact and keep that type of thing going. Do more of it. The Portland Parks Bureau recently came out with a new set of rules for geocaching, and it kind of came out of the blue for some people. Some people knew about it, and many people did not, and they restricted some areas entirely. They reduced the number of caches in other areas, and the club really didn't participate in that process at all, and I was a little disappointed in that. I would have liked to have had them reach out to us, or if we'd have known about it, we of course would have reached out to them and maybe had a little bit more of an interactive process. So those are the kinds of things I would like the club to be doing more of. We've done it a little bit here and there. Gotten access to some parks that geocaching was restricted in previously by, offering that, demonstrating good cache placement, good following of the rules, restricting ourselves to what they requested and things like that. So, we'd like to do more of that. It's still a difficult thing to do. There's still some negative attitudes in some of the parks, governmental agencies that don't understand geocaching well. Part of that is our own fault, I think, from putting out too many caches, putting out caches that aren't maintained well, putting out caches in areas that are more sensitive in terms of either public or habitat or flora and fauna. So, we'd like to try to educate ourselves as well as educate those agencies so that we can all have more fun and enjoy those outdoor spaces that we all love, along with caching. Right, that's what we love to do, and I love to go to any park, but I will always go to a park with caches before I go to a park that doesn't have caches.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's true. I'll agree with that.
Yep. So one of the fun things we did not a few years back, we actually had a school in Salem, which is, I don't know, 60 miles from here south, contacted me. A teacher contacted us and said that their school had launched a weather balloon with a GPS tracker and a video camera on it. And it had come down in an area of the Mount Hood National Forest that was inaccessible to the teacher. She had driven out to it as close as she could get in her own little private car, and she said I couldn't get more than a mile or two away from where the coordinates had placed it. And she said, someone told me that you geocacher people might be able to find it. And she gave me the coordinates, and I looked on a map, and it was right on a nice slope down to the Clackamas River, and very forested, of course. It could have been in a tree as well as on the ground, but got together with some cachers, from our club, a guy with a Jeep, a guy with a truck, a guy with climbing gear, all the things. And we headed out one day, and it took us a good while. There was, we took the Jeep as far as we could, including over a berm. We took the Jeep and the truck as far as we could, and then at one point we were all, I think there were 7 of us on the Jeep, just a 2-door Wrangler. So people sitting inside and another 3 or 4 people standing on the back bumper. Got in a little bit further with the Jeep, and then we had to even ditch the Jeep and bushwhack our way another half mile or so in from there. But we got to the slope, and the guy with the climbing gear had 2 sets of gear, and he's like, all right, who's coming with me, And one guy's like, well, I've never done it before. I don't know if I can. And I'm like, all right, you're doing it then. And he came up, and the 2 guys, we had radios, and the 2 guys went over with the ropes and gear, and not just a few minutes later, you hear him yell on the radio, we've got it, we've got it.
Nice.
So it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. It was a good story. We brought it back, gave it to the teacher, and she came up and presented us at the club, one of our club events, with a framed set of pictures from the video, as well as some notes from the students and thank you notes and pictures of the class that sent it up and stuff like that. So that was one of those fun things that you don't normally get to do, but like I said, she heard about the club, heard about you geocacher people, and
awesome.
Found us, and we found their weather balloon and video camera for them. So it's fun.
That is a really fun story. I mean, again, that's not necessarily geocaching, but the skills that we have learned geocaching can apply in different areas. So
yeah,
that was really fun.
Yeah, and they've opened the door into some other stuff. That's launching a balloon like that's something I've always wanted to do. So.
Yeah, it was fun, and she gave us a copy of the video. It was fun to watch the video. You could kind of see it. Oh wait, now it's going over the interstate. No wait, there it's going over the river, and you kind of pick out parts of the state that you knew as it flew over. And then, of course, watch it come down and bounce through a few trees. It was actually on the ground, which I was totally surprised. I fully expected we'd be climbing trees to get to it, if we even could. We weren't sure that we could. So, but it was fun. It was a good story.
Nice.
That's awesome. So that was Salem area, which is not too terribly far south. And I know you're based around the Portland area. And you mentioned the dry side of the state, but how widespread do you get? Are most of your activities centered in the Portland area?
Yeah, most of our activities are in the Portland area. We claim to be the Portland-based club. There are some other looser organizations in Oregon. Salem has a loose organization called SAGA, Salem Area Geocaching Association. There's down in the farther there's another one of the river valleys. Southern, there's some Oregon Coast cachers in the southern coast. I think it's SWAG, Southern Willamette area. I don't know. Anyway, some other loose organizations. They're not as formalized as we are. They don't have dues or board members and things like that. I don't know what is really organized on the other side of the mountains, on the dry side. We've gone over there. We've actually hosted events over there in a class. At their request, the town was doing a coin challenge and asked us if we'd come out if we knew someone who would teach a class, and so we went out and taught a class. So I live
in Pendleton, so I'll ask them about that over there.
Oh yeah, haven't gone that far for a class yet, but they've done coin challenges. So that's usually when people do it. They want to promote geocaching in their own area to people that haven't done it, don't know what it is, and have never experienced it but have heard about it, kind of thing. And so they want to have this coin challenge to introduce people to it. They want to bring people into the area. A lot of times it's Chamber of Commerce people, tourism people. The one in Madras was actually a hotel owner who was part of the local, very tiny Chamber of Commerce. And she's the one who put it all together, did the coin challenge, bought the coins, contacted us, and asked us if we'd come over. So, I've often thought about Geocachers Exploring Oregon could be more of a statewide organization. I have plans to talk with Washington State organization a little bit more about that. Just haven't quite gotten that far. It's a little bit daunting of a task to take on. But at the same time, it's hard to maintain an organization, leadership, getting people to be on the board every year and stuff. It takes work, and some people just want to cash and don't want to do the work, and I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I used to joke when I was president before that I was spending more time talking about geocaching than I was actually geocaching.
Welcome to the world of geocaching podcasters.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So you know exactly how I feel. So it's just something that we've thought about and kicked around every now and then, and I still think it might be something we want to do, but that'll take some work to explore and try to pursue. Need to, like I said, find out a little bit more about how Washington State does their organization and how they maintain board leadership, and I know they have their chapter reps and all that kind of stuff. So just need to learn more about that before I decide, or we decide as a group if we want to go a little bit more outside of Portland.
Now, you mentioned early on that you were the first president of Geo back in 2008, 2009.
I was the first full year president. 2008, there was a president for that year as well.
Okay. So have you relinquished that position between 2008 and 2016?
Oh yes, I have. Yeah, okay. I was president in 9 and 10, 2009 and 2009 and 2010. And then we've had different board members for the years in between, and then I've just re-upped this year. So, doing it again.
Well, good for you.
It is fun. I enjoy it. One of the things that, like I said, you do spend a lot of time talking about geocaching, but, when you're on the board, people come to you. I can go to events and go up and talk to people that I don't know, and I do that, and I enjoy doing that. But when you're the president, people have ideas or suggestions or questions, and they just naturally come to you. So, and our other board members, of course, and our other volunteers, by the way. It's not just the 5 of us on the board that make the events happen. We have 2 or 3 or 5 volunteers at nearly every event as well. But it's nice. So, you can literally stand in one place and talk to 30 people because everyone wants to come by and ask a question or give you an idea or just talk to you about something, tell you a story.
Exactly.
So I enjoy that. It's very fun to interact with the other people and get to know people and hear their stories, hear where they're from. I enjoy that aspect of it. That's definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. Now, if people wanted to find out more about Geo, where would they go?
Best thing to do is go to our website, which is www.georegon.com. And there's a little bit about the club on the website, but the best thing to do is just come to our events. Like I said, we have a monthly meet and greet. It's usually the second weekend of the month, either on Friday or Saturday. Most often we meet at the Round Table Pizza place in Milwaukee, which is literally a stone's throw from my house, like a half a mile at the most. And that they met there before I was president, so we don't meet there because that's where they before my time.
But if it works for you, why change it?
Right. And
Yeah.
love pizza.
Yeah. It's just kind of centrally located. We're right along the Willamette River, which separates the east of Portland from the west of Portland. So we do try to shuffle to the west side of the city as well, come back to the east side, move around a little bit. So we're probably over on the west side once a quarter, and back over on the east side the other 2 months out of the quarter. But that's the best thing to do is come to our events and get to know us. And you'll meet us out at other events as well, not just Geo events, but there's plenty of other events that are just hosted by a lot of the great geocachers that we have in the city and in the area. So, but come to one of our meet and greets, stop in, say hi, and get to know us as an organization. We're a lot of fun. I think we do a lot of good things. I think we have more good things to come, more work ahead to do, and more caches to find, of course.
Yeah, if you get enough new members signing up, maybe you can get 2 miles of roadway instead of just 1.
That's that. The mile we have is pretty messy every year, but yeah, maybe we could get 2 miles. We can always send half the group that way and half the group that way.
There you go. Yeah, the cleaning up the roadway is never an easy thing. It's amazing how people just throw things out. I'm like, why would you do that?
It is. It's just absolutely sad and disgusting, the things we find. But what amazes me is how many cachers show up for those events.
Yes.
We have 30, 40, 50 people every time we do that event, even in the rain. In Oregon in October, we still get a pile of people to show up. So it's just, like I said, it's just a testament to the great cachers that are in the area and the great folks we have around here that care. They care about their city. They care about their area. They care about the caching. And they care about the Saito and the souvenirs they get. So
exactly.
Never hurts to have a souvenir.
Something little that will incentivize the people is amazing. You mentioned the GeoCoin challenges, or even just the Geo tours that the cities or the Chamber of Commerce put on. That draws people in all over to go get a coin.
It does. It's tremendous.
Yeah. We just did the Auburn GeoCoin Challenge not so long ago right here in Auburn. You got a nice coin from it, and let's go do that. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's
I have a couple of cases of coins over here on my wall that many of them are, there's the Portland area, we probably have a good 6 or 7 of them every year, and a lot of them are done through the Clackamas County Tourism Board. They kind of started it along with the local cachers, and it's just expanded as other areas hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the tourism board of the county pays part, and the city or the Chamber of Commerce pays part. And like I said, it's amazing. They have 350 coins, most of them, and they still have plenty of others. Here's one that they did this past year. I don't know if you guys have seen this one.
Oh, it's a cube.
6 coins. 6 different cities.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying not to get the reflection of the light, but it was fun. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yep. I know the style of that. That comes from Cash Advance.
Yes. Yes, it does. So.
They're the ones doing the cubes.
Yep.
That's a good-looking set of coins.
Yeah, it was. It was good fun. Most of us did it all in one day.
6 cities.
60 caches.
60 caches. That's doable.
It is doable, especially if you plan ahead and work until dark.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There are those that share information and don't quite hit every location and sign every log themselves, but the diehards of us in the group, we sign every log ourselves. We show up at every site ourselves, and we end up finding the last cache at like 9:30 at night.
That's a great thing about the Pacific Northwest summers. There's lots of daylight to get those kind of
Yes.
things done.
Yep. No doubt. Yep.
Well, Three Mud Dogs, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Anytime you want to come back on the podcast and tell us of an upcoming event or something that Geo is doing, you're more than welcome.
Excellent. That's great to hear. I'll keep that in mind. And if you guys ever come to the Portland metro area, be sure to look us up.
Oh, we will. Yeah.
We do have the original stash. It's one of the most famous sites in the world for geocaching.
Exactly.
So we call it Mecca.
Yeah.
Every geocacher must go there one time in their lifetime, right?
You better believe it. We made that trek. It's a little over a year ago now.
Nice.
But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, 18 months or so. I don't know. Yeah, and it was worth it. And that whole area down there has some really good quality caches. So.
Yep. And it's a pretty forest.
Yes. Yes.
Which is why we live in the Pacific Northwest. Why many of us live in the Pacific Northwest.
Exactly.
Yep.
If
Definitely.
we want snow, we can drive to it. If we want water, we can drive to it. We don't have to live in it.
Exactly. That's how I tell my family. The coast is an hour that way, the mountain's an hour that way, but right where I am, it's all good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was great chatting with you.
Thank you so much. It was good talking with you. Wits End?
Yes.
If people, I don't know why, but if people wanted to find out more about you, where would they go?
I don't know why they would either, but assuming they did, Wits End is my handle on almost every social media I can find, and they're all linked from my website at witsend.us. And you, sir?
Well, just as you did Wits End, I followed the trend, and I went with CachingNW. So you can find me at Twitter at CachingNW, Facebook.com/CachingNW, and one of my favorites, Google+. That's Google.com/+CachingNW.
All right. Well, this has been a great episode. So for Three Mud Dogs and for all of you listeners out there, we want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this here very episode of Caching in the Northwest. Listeners, you can be part of the show. You can call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or, send us barbecue anytime, day or night. And, of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Your support helps to keep quality shows coming. If you like this show, please click the PayPal button over on the cachingnw.com website. This here very show, is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2016 by Chris Umfenauer. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next week. And we are clear of the recording. Now, we stay live on the internet for just a little bit longer. We call this the after show or the aftermath or afterbirth, however you want to refer to it. And answer some questions and some of the comments in the Q&A that, we couldn't quite fit in.
Okay.
We start off with IHAM, who says, wait, there are parks without caches?
Well, that was part of that Portland Parks Bureau thing I was telling you about, right? That they went out and made all these rules, and one of them was certain parks, no caches. And, I think if they had worked with us, we could have come up with creative ways to place caches that would have been non-damaging to the environment and yada, yada, yada. You know the deal.
I know the drill, yeah.
Yeah.
But then you get the parks departments. If you can get them involved, they can place the caches in areas that we can't touch. You know, perhaps in a, I'm trying to think of the word here. Large wooden structures for parking. They can go and cut up and do, but we can't.
The little kiosks, the little welcome sign, or the little maps.
Thank you. Yes.
Yep.
So
definitely.
Yeah, City of Mount Vernon has some great caches that way because.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did an event up there, and.
Mount Vernon, Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, Mount Vernon, Washington. This last year was their second year of doing the geocache challenge, geocoin challenge is what they called it, and The director of the Parks Department, I believe, is a geocacher. So,
Nice.
He's got all the tools at his disposal.
Yeah.
He put him in some very creative spots.
Yeah, he talks about pulling his big city truck into the park with all the lights flashing and dismantling a sign there just to put a geocache in it. And nobody questioned him.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, we used to have a cacher down in Lincoln City, one of the cities on the coast here, that was in the Parks Department, and he was one of the first to do coin challenges in the state, and he would do 2 a year, one in the spring, one in the fall, and he had a lot of caches in their parks that, yeah, he was able to place with permission in ways that he probably couldn't have done it if one of us had tried to do it. So.
Wet Coaster says that Surrey, BC is a no-cache park. Has a no-cache park as well. Most other parks, though, caches are fine.
They are out there.
Yeah. B-Pen Dragon says there's only 2 types of parks, those with caches and those that don't exist.
There you go. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think he quite got that. B-Pen Dragon also says, referring to the balloon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Says, I think they misunderstood the idea of a locationless cache.
Yeah.
Nice.
And if you've been caching long enough, you know what a locationless cache is.
There you go.
That is true.
Archived.
If you've been caching long enough, you have a locationless cache.
Exactly. I was just thinking, so people coming along now, they can't get the locationless icon. They can't get the Lost and Found event, the 10-year.
Nope.
What else can't they get? There's a couple of others.
The GPS Adventures, I heard, was no more, but then I guess it's in Canada right now?
It's in Canada. I just found this out. I do another show just before this one called Geo Gearheads. It's in Canada, and it's going to Europe this summer. So it's still alive and well.
Well, and likewise, it's not impossible, but it is very difficult to get the
ape cache. Yep.
That's here you go.
One of our cachers did the Brazil ape cache just this year.
We did the one up here before it went away, and so that was, we got the icon there.
So did we.
Well, we call it the geocaching trifecta up here. You mentioned referring to the original stash as Mecca. We, of course, refer to geocaching HQ here as Mecca.
Got it.
But it was HQ, the original stash, and the ape cache were the trifecta for us, and only 2 of those are still available.
Yep. One of our local cachers here has a challenge cache that is geographically centered between those 3 caches. It's on the east side of Mount St. Helens. Yeah, it's called the Geocaching Triad or something like that. And that was placed by one of our local cachers here in Portland.
Nice.
I've done the Triad, but I haven't gone to get it yet. We need to do it.
That's the one I look at and go, I should get that one.
Yes.
But that's an all-day adventure to go get it.
It is, yeah. It's kind of out in the mountains, yep.
Yeah. Dora Moore says that the GPS, I'm looking for it, the GPS...
Adventures?
I don't see it. Oh, GPS Adventures exhibit, thank you. I have my cache icons up here, and I was looking for the exact words. It was in Halifax last year.
Yeah, that's where it was, Canada, yep.
Yeah, so.
Well, I guess it's nice that it's going to Europe to give them a chance to get it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I've done it twice now. So I did it when it was up in Seattle, and then I did it when it was down here in McMinnville.
Okay. I did it when it was up in Seattle, and that was nice.
That was nice.
We started off the show with a bit from Three Hams and a Rose that talked about his snowshoe adventure. And we asked, well, what kind of caches are they that, in 3 feet of snow is he able to find? He says every second cache is a tree hanger, and there are almost 400 caches.
Wow.
The others are under geopiles, which now are under 3 feet of snow.
Right. Which would be why he only got certain ones, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, and 400 caches in that chunk of geo art. That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I'll have to look that one up too. Take a look at that geo art.
Yeah.
It's up in BC
Kelowna.
Somewhere. Yeah, how do you spell that? K-O?
Let me look at my show notes because it's one of those.
K-E-L-O-W-N-A, is that right?
That sounds right.
G-E-L-L.
K-E-L. Let's see, where's Three Hams? Kelowna.
It's funny that you have a cacher named Three Hams. We have a couple of cachers here named Hams 2X and Hams X2. Is he a Three Hams a ham? As in an amateur radio operator?
I don't believe he is.
Oh, okay.
iHam is a ham.
Yes.
Hams is a ham?
The Pendragon.
Our local cachers, Hams 2X and Hams X2 are hams.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. So.
KVR. Let's see if I can.
Yeah. You see their
No,
studios?
it's a list. That's not going to help. Let's see. BMAR7391 says I found the maze when it was in Denver. Ended up getting a mega event as well.
So these were folks that were listening in while we were live?
Yeah.
That are now commenting?
Yeah. And they were commenting, but, as we were going along, it was like, well, we've passed that. We'll come back to it. Wits End, IHAM says, PM me or private message me
I will.
about the balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, B. Pendragon, for Kelowna. That's the
Kelowna,
proper spelling.
yes.
And people like the accent in the beginning.
Yeah, they both have cool signs in the background. We like your studios. It's fun to see your stuff. I was reading all the signs when we were gearing up to start. And your Seattle Seahawks stuff and your Mariners. And,
Grows back there all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, it morphs and changes as time goes on.
Yeah, and I like your little coin little rack back there in the back there.
This is the amateur radio call sign here, so.
Ah, there you go. Definitely, yep. So are you a ham, Wits End?
Yes.
Jim? Ah, nice.
Yeah.
So you'll have to come down and meet Hams 2X and Hams X2.
Yeah.
Husband and wife caching team.
Nice.
Yeah. My father was also a ham, as well as Gloria's father was also a ham. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There seems to be a good number of hams in geocaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think
and
it's
I'm
the
not
combination
talking about bad actors.
Yep. We have several in our club. Those two aren't the only two. There's several others as well.
I think it's almost a natural fit.
Yep.
Not quite, but pretty close.
They like to do their field days, right? Their field weekends, and go out and do that, and get outside for all that. And
yeah,
we've
done that a couple of years in a row now, going out and doing bunny hunts or hidden transmitter hunts.
Yeah.
Good
If
stuff.
they're anything like my father, they have maps of all the cities and states and countries, and geocachers tend to like their maps as well.
Yes,
So.
they do.
This is Glory, by the way. It's my wife. She caches by the name Glory Me. This is one of our dogs, Coda.
There you go. Well, hi. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Wits End, B. Pendragon wants to know where your green is.
It's in the closet.
Okay.
I wore my green.
I
I wore green all day at work. I was done. I'm not Irish. I don't care.
But aren't we all a bit Irish? Especially on a day like today, drinking green beer. Oh, let's see. B. Pendragon says electronics, geekiness, radio receivers. Yeah, it makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Yep. A little bit of geek.
Wet Coaster got the maze when it was in Edmonton. So there you
Oh,
go.
yeah. That's right.
That thing travels all around. I hear it's a little worse for wear right now. It's getting a little road weary.
It was a little road weary when it was down here in McMinnville. They didn't really change it up at all, and it's like the GPS technology is in. When was it in Seattle? Oh my gosh, that's been a long time ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Let's see.
So you would think, that they would kind of update it with new technology and the like. But when, of course, McMinnville was also a few years back. So,
2009.
oh, is that all? I guess that is 7 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
7 years. It looks like it was on the March 28th, which is almost 7 years to the day. We're about 2 weeks off.
Wow.
Well, somebody out there, no doubt, is listening to this on March 28th, and so
Oh, there we go.
whoever you are, it's that day.
The beauty of the internet.
Right.
You have no idea when or where people are listening. But thank you. Thank you for listening. And with that, we're going to say goodnight.
Okay.
Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you, and we will see you next week.